What's up, guys? Mr. Scanlon here, and in this video we're going to be talking a little bit more about that doing Photoshop work inside of After Effects. Now again, I want to remind you that I actually do most of my Photoshop work inside of After Effects, and you don't have to. You could use the official Adobe Photoshop program, but when it comes to making designs and graphics for sports and stuff like that, I much prefer After Effects because of the tools it gives you. But if you're going for more of an artistic freestyle kind of drawing application, then Photoshop would definitely be more for you. Alright, so I'm just going to go on Google here and I'm going to search Anthony Thompson football. I don't know what images I'm going to get here. Apparently somebody on the Hoosiers was named Anthony Thompson. I'm going to type in Mount Carmel as well, so we have a familiar face with us. And this kind of looks like a cool shot. Usually you want to find a really good picture to know that something's a good picture to use in an edit. Usually it's one that there's not a guy like in front of whoever you're trying to pull out. So this guy isn't in front of Anthony, so this is actually a pretty good one to use. So I'm just going to save this image and then close down Chrome here. So now in here, what I can do is I can just go to File, Import, File, and we're just going to grab that image real quick. So we'll drag him into the composition now and just center that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom in here and I'm going to start cutting out Anthony. So I'm going to go at a decent speed. You don't have to use this image for this tutorial. You can do something else. You can grab like another football player offline, or maybe like a totally different sport, totally different team. If maybe you're a fan of like somebody from the MLB, go ahead and grab them. As long as it's a person who is standing out in an image that you can grab, in some sort of action pose, that's what you should be going for right now. Or maybe if you play sports yourself, you can find a picture of yourself playing, and that would also be something you could use for this video. So you guys can kind of hear like me clicking around a lot. It really does, take some work when you're cutting a guy out inside of After Effects. Inside of Photoshop, it's definitely not as difficult in some respects. I think in After Effects you get a cleaner cutout because you're doing it by hand and because you have a little bit more tools to fool with it, at least quickly in After Effects. In Photoshop, they have the I think it's the auto line tool, so it'll automatically try and find a basically a cut in the pixels, so something where it just basically the computer can kind of tell where somebody is in the picture, and it'll try its best to cut it out for you. It's called the lasso tool, actually, I think. And like I said, it's definitely helpful sometimes, and other times it's not, and that's why I think over the years I've had so many nightmares with the program in terms of not getting the style I wanted down, that I just switched to After Effects, and I've been pretty happy ever since. I never really looked back. Oops. If you mess up, just go ahead and hit Control Z, and it'll bounce you back to what you're going for. So I'm still just clicking around here. And like I said, notice that this other guy over here is completely out of the picture, which is what we want. We just want whoever we're styling here to be completely out in the open for the most part, just so we can cut them out. Alright, so you notice once I just finished there, that Thompson is completely cut out. You can kind of see there's a little bit of green in there, a little bit of mess, but that's easily fixed by playing with the mask feathering tool. So we can just turn that up maybe to like 9 pixels, might even be too much. Yeah, it's kind of giving too much of him away. If you want, you kind of notice it expands out too much. You can cut down the max expansion by going like maybe -2. It might do something like it. And I know I didn't do that great of a job because there's some things that are still popping out, but this is okay for just this example. I did go pretty quick. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and grab over Google again. Now, Anthony Thompson, he's playing for Northern Illinois, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look up Northern Illinois football. I spelled football wrong. And we're going to look for actually the NIU logo. Yeah, something like this. And we're also going to look for this the stadium. So usually you want to look at like the size of the image down here when you're looking at images to do for this stuff, because if you remember the composition size is definitely larger than these. So you want to get a decently sized image so that way you can kind of play around with the edit a little bit. I'm looking for like maybe an action shot. This is actually taking longer than I'd hoped. This is okay. This isn't the best. DeKalb probably gets this many visitors on a daily basis anyways. And then I'm just going to go ahead and save this image, even though this is probably not going to be a very good one to use. All right, so now that I'm in After Effects, I'm going to go ahead and import those two. So the first one was the Husky head, and then the other one was the stadium right there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this stadium here, and I'm going to drag it right behind Anthony Thompson like this, and make sure he's on top like that. And then maybe I'll drag this Husky in here, and it's not totally looking how I want it to because of the white. So what I'm going to do right now, and this is probably a sin because I'm taking out the white out of the Husky here, but you'll see what I'm about to do in a second. I'm just going to key out the white by doing that, and I'm just going to straighten it out, feather it slightly so it's kind of neater. And what I'm going to do with this Husky, because we couldn't get it where it was maybe a little bit more whited out, is I'm just going to expand this so it's really, really large, and then probably put it over here actually a little bit more, and then take Thompson and maybe put him on top, and then drag him over so he's on the side here like this. So not great looking yet, you know, it's not where we want it to be, but here's a few things we can do. We can add like a hue and saturation here, and we're just going to throw this on the background image like this. And I'm going to go ahead with colorize and turn up that saturation. So now NIU is a very red team, and we're gonna give it a little bit of a red background, which will make it look kind of nice. And then we're also going to take this NIU Husky head here, toggle the switches and modes, and we're going to overlay this in there. So you're not that looks kind of cool. You know, we can't see it as much as maybe we wanted to. Maybe we want to center this back in there in the middle a little bit. Maybe put Thompson back in the middle because it's a little bit darker than I thought it might come out as. But you can kind of see it's pretty cool. It's like bleeding into the image. This overlay effect really does a lot. And you can maybe do screen or something if you want to see it a little bit more. I kind of like that overlay. Let me just show you some of the others. Maybe there's like darken, which is kind of cool. That really like gives it like a nice red and black look. Maybe I'll stick with that one. That looks pretty neat. There's color burn, which kind of gives it like you can kind of see like burns in there a little bit more. There's difference, which usually doesn't look that good. That's why I stay away from it. Hue just matches out the hues. Not a very good one to use in this picture, I would say either, but sometimes it really makes something cool. Saturation is actually really neat here. You notice it basically made the black and white around the Husky like what was colored in, and then everything else is red. I think this actually might be the coolest to use right here. So we're going to stick with this because I think that's really cool. All right, so let's just do a couple more things. I know we're running at 9 minutes here roughly, but let's just play around some more. So I'm going to type in Anthony. Let's go caps. Anthony Thompson, just like that. And if you notice there, I had like a black screen and like there was an error. It's because I left my caps lock on. If you turn your caps lock off, that will go away immediately. Okay, I did it again by accident to show you guys. All right, so let's just change this to a nice red, something like that. And then console loss is not the best thing to use, so let's go with maybe I think I have a college one. Yeah, that looks actually really nice. And then for this white, we'll go with black because I think that looks maybe a little bit better. And you can turn up the pixel border on the letters, makes it look a little bit nicer. And then maybe just make the letters larger in general. I think that looks pretty good right there. Maybe turn up the black a little bit more. And what happens if we switch these? Oh, I don't like that as much. That looks a lot nicer right there. So this is looking pretty cool here. Thompson, however, does not have really many effects. So here's a couple things we can do. We can kind of just test some things out. Maybe a screen. Oops, sorry, not with the letters. Did not mean that. Maybe a screen with Thompson might look pretty nice here. And we kind of look at it, and screens, it's okay. He kind of looks like a ghost. Maybe an overlay, and you can see we can't even see him now. So overlay is probably not what we want. Maybe difference, definitely not that. Perhaps hue, probably not that either. Maybe saturation, really can't see him there. Again, just kind of looking anywhere. It doesn't. We're not really concerned about that as much. So we notice we're not like finding anything like super cool. So we'll just go back to the regular Thompson there. Let me show you something really neat, which might take a little while to show, but I think it's really, really cool. So we're going to make Thompson actually, let's make him black and white. And when I say black and white, I mean like how ESPN does their styling sometimes. So let me show you. First, what you got to do is look at the image you're using and look at the original size. So it's 850 by 564. So if you make a layer, solid that is 850 by 564, and let's make that with let's make that with white, sure, and we'll hit OK. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take Thompson here. We're going to take the transform first of all and copy it. So I would just do Control C and then paste it onto the solid. You'll notice that the solid went down here, and then just take the. Oh shoot! Sorry, I'm copying the wrong thing. Don't want that. You don't want that. What you want is Thompson. Where's Thompson? There he is. So sorry about that. You want the transform off of Thompson. Copy that and then paste it onto the solid. You'll notice that it goes on top of him here. And then you just want the masks from Thompson as well, and then paste that on there. So now Anthony's like completely white, which is not what we want, but it's, you kind of notice, like, you might see where we're going with this a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag Anthony on top of this, and I'm just going to drag the parenting of the white solid onto Anthony. So now when we move him around, it's paired to him. We don't see the white when we move this around a little bit. So what we want, and that kind of looked nice. It might be nice for like a different picture, but what we want is this threshold effect right here. We're just going to drag and drop that on top of Anthony. So you notice something happens. He turns completely black and white, and there's a little bit of a kind of a pixel mesh going on there. What we can do is if we go down to here, we go key, and we can test a couple things out. Maybe we want like black and red, totally just black and red. So what we can do is I'm gonna have to change this solid. So what you can do is you can go to new solid and then just use the same sizes, and then maybe go with like a nice red or something. I'm changing up the colors kind of mid game here. Sorry, but just copy these over to the solid here, just like this, and we need to make sure we get the transform on this as well. So something like that. And then we can just go ahead and delete the white, and we'll put Anthony back on top there. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to drag this color key onto Thompson, okay? And click on the white in him, and you'll notice immediately it does what we kind of want it to. It makes Thompson totally black and red. So maybe we don't see him exactly, but we kind of get like a really interesting effect going on there. And then we can change some things around. Maybe we want to turn up the feathering a little bit, the color tolerance, perhaps the edge thin just slightly, like maybe like 1 or something like that. We kind of get like a nice soft edge around him. We can turn. Oh, that kind of looks cool. So like if you want to go like maybe like more of a mixed look, like now there's red, white, and black, which are the 3 NIU colors. You could do something like that. We're just going to go back to, that's fine. We're just going to stay with that. Alright, so that's it for this video, guys. Again, if you want to render this out, it's pretty easy to do it. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you in another one.